Welcome. Thank you for joining me at HiveCast. My name is Faith Chamas. I am your host, and joining me today is Kapil Sharma. Kapil, welcome.
Thank you, Faith, for having me. How's it going?
It's going well. Hey, before we jump in, I do want to congratulate you for the recent news as Interim Executive Director of Altitude Labs.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I won an Oscar for state of Utah.
No, that's really good. I know you and I have met through the ecosystem, Bio Utah, Bio Hive, but really haven't sat down to get to know you. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll be learning about you as the audience will be learning today.
On podcast level, man. This is a new beginning for professional.
We don't do restaurants. We just do podcasts.
Yeah, I like it. And then we ignore each other at professional networks. Okay, there you go.
And you're also a founder and CEO. So I think, as what we're really looking to do at HiveCast is have conversations with the ecosystem and founders in the investing side. And you really capture both of them. So I'm really excited to understand both of your journeys and how you got to Altitude Labs, how your company came to be as well.
Yeah, it's all intertwined, but in a very unique way.
Yeah.
And so it's working out,
Okay.
but love to go into details. Yeah.
Well, let's start with Kapil. Who are you? Where are you from?
Grew up in Utah. So my parents are from India, right? And father's a physician. He just retired last year in cardiology. Mm-hmm. And so he was doing his residency in Tennessee. He was born there and then got fellowship at the University of Utah. And so that's how I came, as a 2-year-old to Salt Lake City. So I actually grew up here. This is hometown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did your family come here for your dad, the profession?
Yeah,
okay.
so it was for the profession. So mom was like an ICU nurse, right? So they actually met in Delhi, romantic Bollywood setup in a hospital, and then they long distance dated. Mom was in New Zealand, he had moved to America.
Yeah.
And then they met in America again, got married, had me, and then dad got fellowship at University of Utah, and then we settled here. And so it was through the profession.
Okay.
Big medical hub here.
Yeah.
So just born into it. Yeah.
And me, I was born in Kenya, but then moved here. But as going into college, were you following your dad to be a physician? Because I know for me it was that pressure to be either a doctor or you have failed the family.
Doctor or die.
Yes.
Doctor or die.
What are you doing with your life?
I know. Trying to make the Indian community here proud. I'm low-key not sweating. No, it's similar. Yeah, similar mentality. It was like, like prodigal son. He's gonna be the son of Dr. Kapil Sharma, that type of thing. Just because that's like the career I was just exposed to. Every day I'd see dad doing that, and then same thing, mom. They're both in healthcare professionals. Yeah. So that was my mindset. Going to school, college. I was like, all right, pre-med. Most, immigrant kids, have that. And then I got exposed to a lot of these entrepreneurial programs at the U that I didn't realize I was entrepreneurial. Yeah. And I was like, oh boy, I'm doing med school. I'm trying to pursue it. But I love bioengineering, and there's bench to bedside, all these things going on, Lassonde, right? That got me exposure to it. And it was more my natural personality. And I didn't realize that was a whole, that could develop into a career path. So at first it was pursue the doctor path, and then I went to the dark side.
Yeah. You're talking about you discovered your entrepreneur side in college, and the ecosystem was very different, that time. So how did you even find that those individuals find those opportunities to give you options to your track to med school?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this was before BioHive, before Altitude Lab, before everything. And it was at that time, I was just a bioengineering student, but I was exposed to kind of, some of these key, from my perspective, they're the OGs for Utah. It was Dinesh Patel, right? He was, do I phrase this correctly? Back in the 1980s, 1990s of Utah, he was the Michael Jordan for biotech. Let's put it that way. One of the first biotech IPOs like Theratech,
Okay.
which then now led to several acquisitions from Watson Pharmaceuticals and Bayer or whatever. I'm forgetting the exact
Yeah.
acquisitions. Eventually led to Teva Pharmaceuticals coming to Salt Lake City, to Utah, right? So he kind of set up the whole basic foundation. It was still nascent, though, compared to, of course, Bay Area, Boston.
Yeah.
But that I just, he was also a leader in the indie community, which I grew up here under. And that was just born into that connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he helped lead, the Center for Medical Innovation, which created Bench to Bedside.
Okay.
A lot of the efforts for bioengineering, alongside other people as well, with Lassonde. And so I was just exposed to some of these programs. And then back then, 10 years ago, it was you had to know one of the OGs to get into the industry if you're a college student, right? Typically, back then, it's you have to work 5-10 years in the industry. Then you go start your own companies or get into biotech entrepreneurship, healthcare entrepreneurship, right? That was the typical routine, I guess, for Utah, which is completely different outside of Utah. But that was my in. You had an in, essentially. Yeah. Right? And so...
someone had to open the door for you. The door really wasn't there.
So I got lucky where it was I got exposed. I was doing Bench to Bedside as an extracurricular activity for med school, right? Okay. As a freshman, sophomore, bioengineering student.
Yep.
And then I was at the competition night that happens in April, every year, I was oh, wow, you can actually, this is venture capital. This is a whole thing. You can actually develop a new innovative technology, save thousands of patients at the same time, and also be rewarded for it, financially and also ethically. You're still in the healthcare, field. And it was more me. And then it started making sense, this is what Dinesh, how he was successful. And I just kept doing it every year because I didn't realize I was so passionate about it. It was interesting. Yeah. And then eventually broke the news to my parents after taking the MCAT, hey,
After taking or before?
After taking the MCAT.
Okay. Oh, you went all the way.
I went all the way. I had great recs. John Langell, who's the former exec director for Center for Medical Innovation, which now I think he's the president of NeoMed, which is the big med school ecosystem in Ohio. So one of my mentors worked along with Dinesh.
Yep. You were set up for success, man.
I got lucky at the right time with the right people. Yeah, I did. They allowed me to run Bench to Bedside as a engineering co-president. At the time, it was just run by med students. Then they wanted to expand it out. And so that gave my first exposure to, this is what accelerator or incubator type of field is, right? And we expanded out into different departments at the U, like business school, chemistry, pharmacy. It was just bioengineering and med school. That was how it was back then. But basically just was hungry for mentorship. They mentored me. That was the way back then. It was 10 years ago. But and then eventually you did the master's in bioengineering that I got a fellowship for running Bench to Bedside, and broke the news to my parents. I was like, hey, listen, I didn't realize this is a career path, but I'm loving this. My master's program that I'm doing, in bioengineering for the BioInnovate program, it can spin out to a startup. I want to work in this biotech startups, right? And so I know I got great recs from Dr. Langell, all these people, average MCAT score. Yeah. At the time, I was like, oh man, I thought I needed a 90th percentile to get into med school, but probably still could have gotten into med school. Yeah. And so my parents were like, what is going on? What? And it was just because they weren't exposed. They didn't know anything outside the typical doctor path. Yeah. Because they just didn't experience it.
It's very narrow and deep, right?
Yeah. But then, and I just emailed Dinesh Patel. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to work for this startup. I was actually thinking Applied Biosensors. I had a friend who was interning there. I was like, let me just build some experience. I want to work in startups. And eventually my dream was I would love to run my own startup one day.
Yeah.
That was it. That's what I knew for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted my own startup, or at least be involved in this space.
Yeah.
And I was just hungry for exposure. And then I sent him an email. I'm like, what do you think about this company? I'm going to do it. And he responds, and maybe no shit to Applied Biosensors, but he's just like, short response, typical Dinesh fashion, send me your resume. That's it. Doesn't acknowledge the company. He said, send me your resume.
Get to the point.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then I sent my resume. I was like, oh my God, this is like the one ask, because as a kid, he's always like, if you ask me something, I got you. Got you, kid.
Yep.
So I was lucky with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he connected me to this group, Lean Heart Ventures, and it was a venture studio. Okay. And that was my first, like, outside of the University of Utah, outside of bench to bedside, professional, like actual venture studio spitting out regenerative medtech companies. And then one of which was Second Heart Assist Inc. So that was like the most famous one. And so I started as a bioengineer for them. Okay. Yeah. So I was prototyping. That was my main forte, medical device design, entrepreneurship. That was my focus for engineering. So I started as a bioengineer for them. Okay. And that was my first like startup experience where you're wearing multiple hats. Mm-hmm. So with the venture studio, I'm like, trying to do some electric stimulation research. That's where that venture studio exposed me to that whole world, because they were trying to do like skin regeneration, hair, organ, like a lot of stuff. And when technology would develop internally, they would spin it out. Okay. Yep. So you're seeing really the seeding of companies. Yeah, and it was just like one day you're tissue culturing, the next day you're prototyping, the next day you're doing like commercial strategy planning and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah. And then I was just hungry for knowledge. So I was like, I don't want to be stuck as an engineer. I want to learn the business too. Yeah. And so I enrolled in the professional MBA program at David Eccles School of Business at University of Utah, right? Yeah. So I was working in the day, taking night classes. I had probably 6-8 month break in between graduating from my master's degree, in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I started like January 2018, the PMBA program at the U. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was just the way I learned. I'm very applied. Like if I have to apply the knowledge the next day, I'll retain, I'll learn it. And maybe that's typical engineering fashion. Yeah. But yeah, worked for Dinesh and that crew for 4 years. 4 years. And as an engineer, then I learned about like, okay, we had a fundraise for some of these startups, especially Second Heart Assist, which is now clinical stage. Mm-hmm. And learned that, okay, this is what angel investing is. This is totally bootstrapping, right? And this is how you have to fundraise for medtech. Therapeutics have a different game, and getting hands in on that. And then I started like actually helping them fundraise. And that's where I was like, wow, I really like this stuff. Venture capital is very interesting. Yeah. And this was like right in the midpoint of my MBA. And I was like, hey, let me take one finance class. It was a private equity class that's technically part of the Master's in Finance program. And I was like, that's so cool, man. They can, this is private equity, this is venture capital, all these metrics, this makes sense. This really ties in with the stuff I have to do tomorrow. Yeah. And, so I can actually have fuel to develop the prototype that's due like in a month, so it was all just conglomerating, like working together, right? Yeah. And this is really not by design. It seems like you're just following your passion, right? At that time, I was like... It's not like you're crafting this. No. Molding this experience. I am not a mad genius. Yeah. I am not Stephen Hawking, dude. Right? Yeah, no, it was more like I was hungry. I was just being honest, like, okay, this is what I'm really genuinely interested in. Because I knew, I don't know, at a young age, I knew I was like, I don't want to be a guy who's like working in a job and like does not like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because someone, it was just like you spend majority of your life professionally working, and like I want to actually enjoy it, and like that I think is the best version of myself.
Yeah.
So I just went with my interests to figure it really out.
Yeah.
That's how I went about my major and career, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, in master's and like in MBA, started taking financial electives, and then just kept at it for another like from 2018 to 2020, while working for Second Heart in the venture studio. And near graduation, they're like, "Hey, Kapil, you're like one elective away from getting a master's in finance too, like a dual degree." I was like, "Dang, I'm really getting my money's worth with University of Utah." So yeah, just took an extra elective. Didn't realize that it was
That's how close you were. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you have an MBA and then you have a master's in finance.
Yeah. So I nerded out. I compensated for the lack of being a doctor. So
I think if you sum them up, right, you've almost gotten as much as you'd have been as a doctor.
I guess.
When you have a tough health insurance question, the last thing you need is a 40-minute hold and someone who's never heard of Utah. University of Utah Health Plan's health insurance is different. We're your neighbor. We know the local doctors and over 20,000 providers statewide, from Logan to St. George. And when you need world-class care, University of Utah Health is right here. Local health insurance expertise, real people, real help. University of Utah Health Plans. Find your health insurance plan at uofuhealthplan.utah.edu.
A PhD in biotech, medtech startup, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Just master's in bioengineering, and then the dual MBA and master's in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how, with all this journey, does Altitude Lab come in?
Yeah. So...
But maybe even before you answered that, you made a comment that, that was 10 years ago when we were very different from the barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, we should even pause and recognize how much has happened
so
in 10
much
years,
has
right?
changed.
And you've seen it, right?
So much has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I come from a world without BioHive chapters. And, you were basically in a university bubble, and then as soon as you graduate, you had to start over again.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. So I had a lot of colleagues.
It's a different hub now that you're going into.
Like, what happened was the University of Utah and also other Utah universities, like, they did a great job of developing and exposing me to like that entrepreneurial spirit. That's something unique about this ecosystem for sure, right? And so I was like so passionate, driven, and like you're well known as a student leader in the university bubble. But then as soon as you graduated, there was no support.
Yeah.
There was no strong industry connect from young talent to go to launch your startup or join a startup or work for a company. A lot of students, a lot of my colleagues went out of state and gave up on their startup ideas or like their bench to bedside projects and things like that.
Yeah. So
I was like maybe only one or two of like bioengineering. I can name them. Kyler Hodgson, who was at Fluidics. And then from MBA, Dan Burrell, who went into startups as well. And then myself, and maybe that's about it. Sorry, crew, if I'm missing anybody.
Yeah.
But like,
today, how is that different?
Today,
just looking 10 years, right? And how much has changed?
Yeah, today, now it's like, okay, you have the BioHive chapters, which is as freshmen, sophomore, for undergrad, then graduate students, which were never exposed to healthcare entrepreneurship that properly. They're coming to the industry networks directly, and they understand like, oh, this is another career path, right off the bat, much earlier. There's a better bridge. They understand there's Altitude Lab where you can launch a company. They understand that like, okay, the culture's changed too. Like, oh, I can actually co-found right now with my colleague, like another graduate researcher or spin out from a university lab, things like that. This is what tech transfer is. So it's way more. There's a better pipeline now.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, BioHive Live, right, just recently happened,
Yeah.
and we had students on the podium.
Yes,
Right?
yes. And I think it does matter to show like, hey, these are the upcoming student leaders, right?
Yeah.
That process, even though it seems kind of trivial and it's honestly not, too sophisticated, but that's enough to like spark the like, oh, this is where I can go. This is
Yeah.
the resources. Let me launch a company.
Yeah.
That drives innovation.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was watching Dinesh Patel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now it's just like ecosystems organized like that.
Yeah.
We have to keep it
Not
going
individual
though.
pockets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the clicks, like
Yeah.
that's old school mentality. Utah's
Yeah.
changed now.
Yeah.
But this concept needs to be maintained though, right?
That's why we're here.
That's what we hear. That's what we hear. So that I think that's how it's changed, and it's not even been that long.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years is nothing.
Yeah, and it's quite robust and promising, and out of state notices a lot.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like they don't expect it from Salt Lake, but now that dynamic's
We're
changing.
making noise.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So Altitude Lab.
Yes. So Altitude Lab, phenomenal story. Basically, while I was working for Second Heart and the Venture Studio, Altitude Lab was created in 2020. I believe it was like March or Jan 2020. Recursion was the name to fame. It still is, right? And it's for Utah. And I think they had just IPO'd, if I am correct. And at that time, it was like, with the venture studio, like, hey, do we kind of shrink Utah a little bit? Because it's hard to find funding.
Yeah.
There's not so much support.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research, talent, and stuff, but funding. Let's have Kapil go back and forth, between Salt Lake and like SoCal, California. So, but right at that time, Chandra Hawk, who's the first executive director of Altitude Lab, co-founded Altitude Lab with Chris Gibson, the first CEO of Recursion, right? To kind of meet this lack of startup infrastructure here. And so that opened in, I think it was officially like March 2020. We had heard word that they're announced. And I was planning to launch a startup like from the venture
Around
studio.
the same time?
Yeah, or actually enroll it to Altitude Lab.
Okay.
So I was like trying to convince the team, like, hey, there's activity here in Utah. Don't shut it down. We're 50% more cost effective than California right now. Don't axe the team here.
Yeah. What was the original Altitude Lab's original target?
Yeah.
Right. And has it changed to where we are now?
Yeah, the original intention was to like, it was like, okay, Utah's been a phenomenal biotech insular hub for 30, 40 years, but there's been a lack of startup support. Like you'll launch a technology, but everyone still has to go out of state for funding.
And we have great coming out of the university, right? A lot of ideas coming out from there.
Big opportunity cost that you're not able to.
Staying home.
Yeah. Or like you have to go out of state for funding. We're not organizing that well. People aren't, And Recursion experienced that when they were trying to build their company.
There's
and
capital here.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not tapped in, or it's not playing at the right metrics as it should be. So that was the intention for Altitude Lab, was like meet that startup infrastructure need.
Yep.
Build a biotech sphere around, in Salt Lake City. Yeah, sure. Around Recursion, as an example, for
was
like
it
wins.
focusing similar to Recursion Industries, or is it open to any founders?
No, it was open to any founders. It was naturally more focused at that time for therapeutics, because that's just what the founders of
the team,
their expertise was in, right? Naturally.
Yep.
So if you look back, the original cohorts were therapeutics, right? And so that was the focus, was like, let's see if we can spark the ecosystem, build up the healthcare economic backbone, and of course bring more underrepresented founders like into the ecosystem, because honestly, that's going to be the demographic for the U.S. population anyway.
Yeah.
We should, have that perspective in mind. That was the original intention. At that time, according to Chandla too, it was like, we have no idea if this thing's gonna work. They were like, let's try it.
Yeah.
Chris Gibson was very, focused, is like, hey, the whole thing for us is like, if we start Altitude Lab and it sparks the ecosystem and others from out of state come in, we won. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We won,
Yep.
And they let it take it from there.
Yep.
Now it's like, now we probably nationally known, 205 mil.
Yeah.
Our companies have raised, and I don't have to explain what to West Coast what Salt Lake City is, East Coast, same thing. The model's working.
Yeah. So maybe talk a little bit about the resources that Altitude Lab provides.
Sure.
And if anything is unique.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, I didn't even answer your first question. Okay. So let me bring it back. How I got into Altitude Lab.
Yeah.
I launched a start from the venture studio. Pitched it to Chandana. She rejected it right off the bat because she's like, "Yo, you're a device thing.
Yep.
But let's stay in touch."
Okay.
So I stayed in touch for 2 years.
Yeah. Not now.
She was like, "No to your company, but you're a cool dude." And just let's be homies, right?
Yeah.
And so for 2 years, that was in 2020. 2 years, I just built Second Heart with that crew.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I've got equity and everything. Now I feel like I want to branch into something else, And I was just feeling something different. And I was invited to judge Bench to Bedside.
Mm-hmm.
It goes full circle. It's crazy. But invited to judge Bench to Bedside in April 2022. Chandla was there, also as a judge. Mm-hmm. And we go, run into each other. She's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "Hey, can you just introduce me to some people? I'm trying to build the Utah network here," because she was new from Bay Area, right? From SF. And started introducing. And then she pulls me aside like, "Hey, how about you just work for me?" And I was like, "What?" I thought Altitude was like kind of co-working. Like, no. And she's like, no. I have some ideas, like programs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How about you work for me? And then she took a selfie. You can go back to her Twitter.
Yeah.
She took a selfie with me and Lauren, who was like one of her first hires. And a week later, I did an interview. Yeah. And then officially joined as like the program manager for Altitude Lab. And what I learned what to do, what not to do with the Ventures do with Second Heart, I built it onto the first programs for Altitude Lab that have now been refined. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the origin story.
Yeah.
How Altitude Lab, what it does, how it's different. So from the beginning, Chandla, and I still believe in it, it's a 2-year accelerator program. Most people think you have to be there for biotechs at the time. It was like you got to build for 5-6 years. They deal with FDA and you get revenue. Yeah. Our thing was, all right, we're gonna fire hose you like crazy in the first 2 years. You're gonna have some skin in the game. You got a time limit. You got to really work in developing your technology. And our goal is to help you get seed financed, right? Actually play at the sophistication level that Bay Area, San Diego, Boston, London, are playing at. If you actually, because Altitude's mission was also to create more venture-backed, sustainable startups for biotech and healthcare, right? Tech is doing that here.
Yeah.
Biotech, that perspective wasn't coached or organized, right? So that's the number one differentiating factor. That's where we come from in our programming. So we're creating a whole set of biotech founders who, the first year is really just focused on developing the right technological milestones for your company, right? Or for your technology, right? And then coaching you on how to talk to some of these more sophisticated investors, how to think about it. Yeah. Indirectly developing a founder archetype, that you see in Bay Area, but is customized to this region. Yeah. Right. And the whole goal is then you're self-sufficient, you're well-networked, you get that knowledge barrier is reduced because we support you. And you graduate at 2 years, you get at least seed finance from our connections. And then you're self-sufficient and you can scale to be a Series A, Series B company and build here. And then you're still part of our network ecosystem.
Do they get to tap into any of your advisors, right? You're connected to successful companies such as Recursion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have a formal Recursion advisory program, actually, that is exclusive just to the residents.
The cohort.
The resident, cohort. Yeah. And so, they get assigned Recursion execs who actually coach them.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's outside Recursion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the number one value prop for Altitude Lab is there's a misconception that it's just wet lab space. It's only like 10% of it.
Yeah.
90% of it is the right investor connects, capital, and the strategics, the pharma, like Eli Lilly, J&J, Genentech, like AstraZeneca, the external innovation teams of those companies that can partner with our startups, right?
Yeah.
And of course, now we're doing some therapeutic computational-based med tech.
But you do have a very beautiful lab.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Very good
it's
space.
Hot. It's
yes.
hot. Yeah. Yeah.
Takes me back to my R&D days.
We started at the University of Utah, right? University of Utah technically co-founded us with Recursion, donated the lab space right above Black Rock. And then we moved to Gateway, which is brand new refurbished with lab space in 2023.
Yeah. No, it's, I think, a founder's and engineer's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live there, man. It's great.
Yeah. So what's the cohort right now? What's the mix between, med device?
Yeah. Yeah. And therapeutics.
And therapeutics,
yeah. So we started a cohort system. We're doing small batches of like 5 to 8 companies at a time.
Okay.
Because I think over the years now, we're like, we have a lot of the right connects now, but let's really hand tailor them. And that I think is a sweet spot for us on that. Okay. So it's a mix of probably 50% therapeutic. The rest is like some software as a medical device we've taken in, diagnostic. That's been kind of the even playing field right now.
And people applying into Altitude Lab, what would you say in terms of coming from the universities within Utah versus individuals, right? Yeah. Someone in their basement or garage has an idea.
Yeah. I mean, like for us, both are in the same boat, right? Yeah. At least in Utah faculty, a lot of them is their first time starting a company. Some industry guys, it's a wide spectrum. Some industry guys are like, hey, I actually am a serial entrepreneur. So we get that, you know. I don't have to explain too much. They join, I just connect them straight to the capital and the pharma partners or strategics. But yeah, there's some who are like, ex Teva or ex so and so, who are starting a company in their basement. And for us, our program, whether it's first time faculty founders, industry, same playing field.
Yeah. Same playing field. The path is the same.
Yep, because we're basically teaching them how to be that biotech founder, right? We've seasoned a unique program with that. It started like 40-50% faculty.
Okay.
Like back in the day, like 2020 to
the early years. Yeah.
Like right before I joined, it was like that.
Okay.
And when I joined in 2022, honestly, now it's like majority from like industry locally here. Yeah. And then as of the past 18 months, 70% of our applications are from outside of Utah.
Oh, really?
Like Bay Area, East Coast, Texas applications.
The tide has shifted.
Yes, 10% is Europe. We have an Estonian founder, Carmen. You can't miss her. She's a vibrant personality, and so that's how it's evolved. It's like now I have to talk internationally, and manage that, but still maintain the foundation and roots of Utah, Intermountain West. So yeah, like that's changed now.
Yeah.
But there's still ways of activating more faculty here. Like you have George Church, you have Jennifer Doudna, right? Both who are, they have their labs, but they spin out so many companies and technologies.
Mm-hmm.
That perspective is missing here. But that's something that we're seasoned know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we work with faculty. With industry, it's like basically coaching straight from scratch. But we only take companies in when they have at least a proof of concept established.
Yeah.
And if we meet them before that, we do informal meetings. Like I've worked with some founders for like 2 to 4 years on these informal like meetings. Then when they're ready, they apply for SBI or whatever, get funding, and they join. So actually handful of companies in our current cohort were like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're in altitude.
Yeah. So you're in a very unique position, right? As the executive director, but yet you're also a resident.
Yes.
Yeah. So I haven't mentioned your company. So tell us about your company.
Yeah. Yes. Resident founder.
Yeah.
Employee of Altitude Lab, now running Altitude Lab. Yeah. So it's it keeps me fresh on both jobs, for sure.
Yeah.
Being a founder within, like a resident founder, made me more creative and more strategic because I was fresh in it and also interacting with the residents directly. Yeah. And just like trying to currently raise in this climate. So I was alive in it. And that helped Chandana on the board, right? Like, and I was their guinea pig. So it was like, so going back, like when I first joined Altitude Lab, 2 months into my interview after getting hired, I literally told her in the interview, I was like, hey, I just want to learn how to build Altitude Lab, see how you guys do it. Because you guys, you're the team that build recursion. Yeah. And like all these things, like, you guys are legends here for us. I want to learn that. So eventually down the road, 5-10 years down the road, I can launch my own company. Yes. That was I literally said my first interview. Yeah. And she's like, you're just trying to build a network. I was like, no, dude, I feel like I don't know crap. Like, I need to learn, And then she's like, you know what? I like the energy. We'll go with it. Right. And so my plan was to start a company after Altitude, 10 years down the road. Yeah. 2 months in, full context, I was applying to grants for all these ideas that I learned from the venture studio. They exposed me to electric stimulation for regenerative medicine. But my former professor, we saw we could turn certain genes on and off with frequency and voltage with electric stimulation. Did some publications on that. And I just shopped around. I was like, let me just shoot a bunch of grants. And I was like,
sticks.
You see what sticks? And like, if it hits, I'll go back to the venture studio's like, hey, come back to us, we can work with you, or like you do my own thing, whatever. It was completely separate. And there was this one defense contract that was like a lot of money. And I was like, I'm just going to do it for the fun of it. Totally not going to get it though. And I just send it.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing to lose. Yep. And I actually sent like 15 different grant contract applications, NIH, SPRs, and all these different things based on this core technology, this idea we had. Yeah. Didn't hear back. I got rejected from every single one. Didn't hear back from the DoD for like a year. By then, I was like, all right, that's a no. I'll build this up slowly, and learn. And then Chandana poached me. Started June 1st, technically, 2022. 2 months in, I get an email. Hey, this is the DoD. Sorry for the delayed response for like a year and a half. Here's $2 million of non-dilutive funding. What's the status with your, gene targeting electric stimulation idea?
And you had a mild heart attack?
Yeah, I was like, Sean's going to kill me. Oh my God. I'm so, yeah. And
I mean, 1.5 years, that's the government timeline.
Yeah, right? It was actually normal government timeline. That was early for them, actually.
It's actually I think 4 years early.
Yeah. I take it back. That was, my plan was like 5 years from now, I'll start a company. No, 2 months in.
2 months.
I'm like, oh my God, I just joined a job.
That's exciting.
And so and Chandana at the time had some like pre-incubation programs and ideas she was doing for like, especially, those founders like you mentioned, who were building ideas in their basement. I guess I'm one of those guys. I was one of those guys. Yeah. and how do we support them so that then they can, when they're ready, their proof of concept is validated, then they can join Altitude Lab.
Yeah.
So she was experimenting at the time with these programs, and I 2 months in landed it. I'm like, hey boss, I know I know you just met me. You just hired me, but I'm in this situation, and really most of groundwork is like, we need to validate the core technology in vitro first, right? And that's all on like, my former professor, senior scientists.
Yeah. They're
going to do all the work. You have this pre-incubation idea. Can I just beta test Vira? This is the situation I'm in. And I'm calling it Vira Regen, by the way, And she's like, all right, listen, man, yeah, you can do it. But if you manage your time, we'll let it work.
Yeah. As long as you get your work done.
Yeah. And like at that time, it was very much on the basic, like the science side of it, right?
Yeah.
The research side. And
yeah.
that moment, like what boss does that first and foremost? So best boss in the world. I love her.
That's awesome.
And we did this from October 2022 to May 2023, where it was just like kind of building up. And I would moonlight. So I would work for Chandana.
Yeah.
I would build up the programs. We were doing a lot of workshops to coach startup founders, and then external events to get Altitude Lab networked more with the state of Utah. We're working very more in the state first.
Okay.
And then like 4 p.m. after, I would check up on like some of the scientists and our VP research and check the data. So I was like pulling 9 to 7 type of thing.
Yeah.
Still kind of am.
Hustling.
But it was magical because it was small. And then we're like, oh my God, the data works. We can use electric stimulation, turn certain genes on and off. And with the $2 million to test this in preclinically in small animals first, right? And then we incorporated. So May 2023, launched the company and everything.
And the company's name?
Vira Regen. Yeah. So Vira is Sanskrit. From my roots, stands for like warrior or man of action. So, we're funded by, it was really designed for the warfighter, right? Yeah. And regen to regenerate. Yep. So we use electric stimulation for gene modulation. First indication is to regenerate bone limb fractures, because that's the number one medical impediment to the DoD. Not traumatic brain injury, hematoma or anything. It's fractures, musculoskeletal injuries that happen in training in the field. $3 billion a year from, right? And so, we're building a frontline novel bone growth stimulator. Like 4 days after injury, you apply, generate your bone. And like, obviously over like, a 4 or 6 month timeline. Yeah. But every other day. And that was the pitch to the DoD. Yeah. So we just, slowly built that out. I was doing Altitude Lab in the day, Vira in the night, and it was really possible because that contract, very lucky situation, very unique situation. You have $2 million that can fuel a team of scientists, and then you can outsource the animal work to Utah State University. They're doing it, right? That was the only way. Otherwise,
just the animal lab would deplete most of that.
Or like if I had to do it all myself, there's no way I could have 2 jobs like that. Yeah. But now, we can regenerate bone 50% faster in our preclinical data in the middle of large animal studies. And basically, I learned how to work with the DoD, defense contracting, what that was. That knowledge, that network, I then was simultaneously bringing to Altitude Lab indirectly. Mm-hmm. And then Chandana saw that. She also saw that, like, hey, this kid is extremely extroverted.
You are.
Yeah. So I think she's one of the smartest people I know. Yeah. And so I think she saw that, like, all right, his natural personality is he could totally build up the investor network and partner network that Altitude Lab doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And so she promoted me to director of partner investor relations. Yeah.
And this is when?
This promotion was technically 2024. Okay. If I recall.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't tell you to
You can,
memorize
like-
your resume. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know my own resume. Oh my God. Yeah, I technically around that time. Yeah. And then that's when she started having me travel.
Okay.
And she's like, let's expand the networks outside of
the
Utah
state.
even more. Because at the time it was really based on Recursion's existing VC networks and things. But then we built our own. So now we have 300 plus like angel network, angel groups, family
All just
offices,
unique
VCs.
to Utah, not tied to any other.
Actually, all
groups.
majority from outside of Utah
Okay.
that are now tied to Salt Lake through Altitude Lab. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, we're partnered with like Park City Angels and a few other local angel groups. But yeah, so that job helped me build investor network for Altitude Lab. What didn't pertain to Altitude Lab, like if I met something DoD related or similar to Vira Regen, that acted like my CEO role for Vira Regen.
Yeah.
So I literally had to talk to everybody. And I was one of the unique psychos that didn't mind that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened. And then, fast forward May 1st, 2026, John handed me the keys, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So with Altitude Lab, Vira Regen, and you as a founder, what's next?
Look, now's the time to build. I'm in that stage right now where I'm like, I want to build startups. Let me see how far I can build Vira Regen. If an exit opportunity, once we get into clinicals, if it really arises, we'll take the shot. If there's opportunities where we've widened the net, where there's chances to go into other indications like cancer, osteosarcoma, osteoarthritis, or even certain longevity, we'll shoot for it, But long-term in life, it'd be great to get a lot of operator experience.
Yep.
But then eventually, I would love to get, into venture as an investor side. I feel those are the greatest investors, those who were former CEOs and operators. And then, I don't know, I've always raised in community, and Altitude Lab is essentially that ecosystem player. It's just a natural forte now, and so, but doing that through venture, that's the long-term dream. And then, dude, I'd love to just eventually retire and just like, be a professor or something, part-time or something like that.
Retire. Where would you retire?
Oh boy, that's a good question, dude. I'm not that old, dude. I don't know.
You don't have to be old to retire.
I think Salt Lake will always be my hubs, though.
Where?
Salt Lake will still always be my hub.
It's not bad.
Not bad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faith.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for tuning into HiveCast by BioHive. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast and share it with someone who would find it valuable. You can find more episodes and updates at biohive.com or by following BioHive Utah on LinkedIn and Instagram. Thanks for being part of the Hive. We'll see you next time.